Hello, I'm Braylon, and we have a full moon in Libra. So really, I want to talk about the past few days because as we sit currently, the moon has already shifted into Scorpio. So this full moon, although we're harnessing the energy, it's really over the past few days that I feel was really intense for different reasons for everybody. So just keep that in mind as we discuss. Some of these energies are slightly dissipating, especially over the next 2 weeks as we get to a new moon. So I would say the full moon was on April 6th, I think around like 9:30 p.m. So let's talk a little bit about Libra. Completions and new beginnings with the full moon. And then we have chapters. And really every month when we have the full moon, it's climactic energies, high emotional levels. And I was wondering why this full moon for me personally felt just really intense. So I was doing some research, and this is the first full moon after the equinox that we had on March 20th, the spring equinox. So I think it's just like really potent for the first moon after the equinox. But as far as Libra, since that's the full moon we're dealing with, it's the 7th house of relationships. So we have 12 houses in astrology. They all represent different things. And when we're dealing with the 7th house, it's all relationships, not just romantic, but it is the house of marriage, contracts. So our relationships are extremely, extremely highlighted right now over the next couple weeks, and then really until October. So I do have October 14th as a really important date for the 6-month cycle that we're going through right now. And I did find out that the new moon in Libra in 6 months, so we're going from a full moon to a new moon 6-month cycle, is actually an eclipse. So the fall equinox is extremely highlighted right now. Halloween time, and I'm ironically wearing a Halloween shirt today, so that's kind of weird. So I think Halloween, October 14th, that's going to be a really kind of when all these energies kind of come to a climax. So we talked a little bit about the completions that full moons bring, new beginnings, chapters, climactic energies, and the high emotional levels. We talked about partnerships a little bit. But Libra is the opposite of Aries. So in astrology, when the sun and the moon are opposing, so we have the sun that is currently in Aries. Aries are celebrating their birthdays. We got a couple Aries. We have a third Aries too. So it's Aries, 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 Pisces, Gemini. So it's Aries season. So the sun is in Aries, but also we have Chiron in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, Mercury that just moved out of Aries. So there's a lot of us versus others going on is the best way I can put it, because we're dealing with the house that's called the descendant, which is basically just opposite of who we are. The first house is ourself. The 7th house, opposite of that, is our relationships with others, which kind of makes sense because it's you and then there's everyone outside of you. So there's this self versus others energy. And the issue with that is the over-compromising that's taking place. So that's a huge topic tonight, is just what's fair, what's not, kind of letting those chapters in that aren't fair, that it opposes who we are too much. So we might find that relationships, it could be friendships, business partnerships, family members. If you think about it, you have a relationship of some kind with all people, places, and things. That's highlighted with Libra, but more specifically, is there balance? Probably not right now. What's being highlighted is where things aren't fair. So Libra is the scale of karma. It's all about balance and justice in astrology. It's the only sign that isn't represented by a physical living thing. Like Aries is a ram, Gemini is the 2 twins, Pisces is the 2 fish. Libra is an item. So they call it like a soulless, it's very detached air energy. We'll talk about that in a minute. But just justice and karma really if you actually think of a metaphorical scale in your life, like, so we may have work over here on one of the scales, and then maybe ourself over here, or work and relationships, or 2 different parts of yourself. Libra is going to be that kind of scale of time and energy, and it's so detached that what happened over this full moon is it just equalized. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life or how much you're overworking when the scale of karma is just equalized. So maybe you were, when the scale goes like this, maybe there was something that was taken a little bit too much of you. Those things are going to become more fair, is the best way I can put it. And then we also, I completely skipped over the fact that this is very chaotic. I want to mention that. Not many people know, but Libra is associated with chaos. a lot of people, as far as astrologers, they'll immediately talk about like harmony and peace and justice and all of that with Libra. I do have that in the notes, but Libra is associated with those things because of the chaos that comes before that. The opposite of Libra is war. Aries is war. Libra is peace. But if you think about it, there's a need for peace because there's that chaos. It's kind of like a tornado, like a chaos tornado, and the cleanup after that. But we also have the law that is important. On the full moon, I was at work and I saw at least 2 or 3 people get pulled over, like right in the gas station that I was working at. So the like legal energy. I don't know if anyone. I just thought it was ironic that Gwyneth Paltrow around the full moon, she's a Libra herself. So it's just weird to see how these things kind of metaphorically, how the planets affect us. But there's a court case going on with that. So just that kind of energy, like even metaphorically, like jurisdiction in our life, court rulings, being detached enough in order to get that harmony and that peace. Because it is about making the peace. But before we can do that, we have to acknowledge that everything is kind of chaotic in a certain way, especially around the time of the full moon, like Wednesday, Thursday. I'm not sure how everyone was doing around that time, but I definitely felt just like a subtle upheaval, chaotic energy. So we talked about balance and the fact, I mentioned briefly that Libra is an air sign, just like Gemini, just like Aquarius, but it's the cardinal air. So Gemini is mutable. We have mutable, cardinal, and fixed. Aquarius is the fixed air sign. So Libra's cardinal, like Aries, like Capricorn, like Cancer. And that's all about action. So I wrote here mental authority. When we talk about cardinal signs, they're in the front. They're like the, I don't know military language, but probably like the sergeant or something like that. So they've got a lot of authority in that way. And so because of this full moon, we're kind of harnessing, or we have the ability to harness that anyway. We have this metaphorical jurisdiction right now, like jury duty. And there's intellectual energy to harness as well. I love air signs. So when the full moon is in an air sign, even though it's the same as other full moons, like the climactic energies I was mentioning, we have this detached, almost like ability to mentally assess our emotions. So it's not the same as feeling them. So our thoughts are really important right now. Our detached thoughts, we probably do have a lot of feelings as well, but we have this air beneficial energy to give us the facts. Libra is very charming and communicative, but also I have here manipulative energies. We have to be very careful of that right now because there are certain energies that they kind of go hand in hand. Like when you're detached, you're put in that arena of kind of being either, it could be you or others, because remember, that's a huge theme right now, is ourselves versus others, what we're seeing in our relationship dynamics. So just be a little cautious of the manipulative energy that may be born out of this, and then the slightly narcissistic energy. So I have a feeling everyone listening, everyone present tonight may, encounter those energies, probably have already, but this full moon is going to bring those definitely to the surface. And so when we have full moons, what I like to do is I like to talk about illumination, because the moon in astrology, it governs over our subconscious. So everything at nighttime, our dreams. So what's being illuminated here? Let's talk about that last, which is basically Libra illumination. So I would say I could have just came up here and in a nutshell said that there's relationships ending, because Libra is the 7th house of relationships. Full moons bring closure, clarity, completions to chapters. So if Libra rules relationships and the moon is ending things, in a nutshell, I would say probably immediately over the next couple of weeks, but definitely gradually throughout the next 6 months. By October 14th, we're not going to have the same relationships. And the reason for that is, especially if these relationships are unfair or if they're unequal in any way, like I said, the scale of Libra is very detached. It's almost like a judge, like Judge Judy. She's a Libra, ironically. And when you're a judge, not that I know personally, but you can't rule off of what you feel. You have to rule off of what makes sense. You have to be detached. So we're going to have to embody that a little bit from this moment moving forward for the rest of April. Definitely before the next full moon, like about May 5th, we'll have another full moon. It'll be a completely different story in Scorpio, which is where the moon is now. But as far as this cycle, we're going to have to end some relationships. They may end for us. And they're definitely, we have free will to hang on to certain relationships, but the feeling of the unfairness that we're going to feel is going to get unbearable. So if we decide to stay in dynamics that we're not receiving enough from, that are tipping the scales in an unequal way too much, it's going to get unbearable to continue that, almost karmically. So these contracts, certain contracts that we have metaphorically with people and literally, are coming to a close. So what else is being illuminated? Things with others. I would say relationship endings, completions of all kinds with others. So I'll just put it like this. There's certain people that they no longer have a place in our story. So they're kind of just filler characters. Like chapters ago, they could have been main character vibes. Aries is main character vibes. They're the first sign. They start out the whole thing. It's the spring equinox energy. But when it comes to others, especially if they're taking too much from us, or if we're not able to be who we are with these people, friends, work, whatever it is, whatever these relationships are, by October, the scales are so balanced and detached that we're going to find that this may be a whole different story. You know, so it's kind of that thing there. So over the next 6 months, especially if things are unjust or unfair, there's going to be metaphorical ruling. And it really depends on your specific metaphorical scale, because some of us in certain areas, there may be things where who we are and what we're doing is causing unbalance with others too. So I think it's going to be kind of both, because Libra is dual. There's only 3 dual signs: Pisces, Gemini, and Libra. They have 2 things that represent them, like the 2 fish, or the Gemini 2 twins. Libra has the both sides of the scale. So, Aries is a singular one.
Sorry,
Just
I thought you said Aries was dual, so I just...
Gemini, Pisces, and Libra. But Aries is definitely about the individual one. Just the one. That's, you guys start this whole thing out. So what opposes Aries is that dual energy, which kind of makes sense. Like there's you, and then on the other side of you, there's all these other people. So when you get in a relationship, it no longer becomes just about you. Some people try to, that's what I'm saying, is like relationships like that, where it's, you know, it feels like you're kind of by yourself anyway, or a lot of us are with selfish people. We'll just say it like that, like we're with selfish people, and it's causing a lack of fairness between ourselves. We're over compromising. Libra is the sign of compromise, which I actually wrote last. I was watching a movie, and like I've been getting a lot of metaphors and stuff, and I'll hear it like, oh my God, that's so Libra full moon. So I didn't want to forget to mention the compromise that is going to come up in our lives in all these areas of balance or lack thereof. So with others, there's like a huge emphasis on other people, but it's Aries season. So it's like, what about me? Like if you're with someone and it compromises, like you can't be yourself with them, or you feel like you're becoming them and it's their show. So there's this huge, like this energy of like, man, I've completely abandoned myself for years. Like I've completely lost all sense of my identity because of this relationship I have with work, or this relationship I have with A, B, and C. So that's going to be extremely highlighted, but we're going to get a lot of clarity with ourselves, self-clarity versus others, so that it's equal. This is by October. And I would say the emotionally detached thing, we talked about that a little bit earlier, the detached rulings that the universe is going to be making. Like the universe right now is like, that's unfair, so that's over. And so there's a lot of different changes and new beginnings taking place. And what we don't know is at a subconscious level, we're kind of setting ourselves up for the next 6 months so that in October, we're actually at peace. So that in October, and even maybe around the fall equinox and Halloween, that we're not still over compromising. Like the universe is, our higher selves basically is what I call the universe, is not okay with that. You know, there's just too much lack of balance taking place. And plus there's future. So if this is a movie or a story, the future is calling us to be a certain person. It might be different than what you are right now. We have authority that we have to step up to. We have to step into our actual path. And there are certain relationships that are in the way of that. They're in the way of us becoming a certain version of ourselves. Like there's so much that the future holds, but it requires us to be a certain way. It requires us to have a certain level of confidence. So anything in the way of that is definitely going to be ruled against, so that things are way more fair and balanced. So we're basically going to be shown the areas of life that aren't balanced in a nutshell. And that could be so many different things. Financial, there's a huge emphasis on relationships, of course, but there's a lot that goes into our relationships, you know, like where we live and family stuff, you know, all of that. It's going to be so different from person to person. But ending chapters of unfairness by October 23, October 23, we'll be in better relationships and we'll have a more peaceful life. So that's the notes that I took last night. I think there's a lot of relationship talk, which can be kind of triggering at this time. Not only just because of astrology, but because the weather's getting warmer. And I think there's a little bit of a confused state almost. But really, what I just want to close with is that I don't want to be cliche with the Aries energy and say put yourself first, but it kind of is that, you know, like Aries demands, we are still in Aries season, even though this is a Libra full moon. And we had a Libra or an Aries new moon last month, and we have 2 Aries new moons. And to me, when I realized that, it's like, okay, the universe is really, there's not 2 Libra full moons. There's a 2 new moon in Aries. So there's 2 new things about you, about ourselves. And I think some of us over-identify with relationships. And then let me also mention that people who aren't in relationships, like that doesn't mean that the dynamic or the actual, even in general, like just relationships, like maybe not even being in one, there's something with that is contributing to the aspects of who you are. And it's either providing you balance or providing you chaos. Like that's one thing I didn't write down, but I did want to mention that is like, there are people, places, and things in our life, and we kind of need to take a step back, detach from it all. We're a fly on the wall. This is no longer our life. And it's like, does this person, place, or thing provide me peace and balance, or is it messing my life up, basically? And we're going to have to be detached, you know, to make that ruling. It's not necessarily about emotion and what somebody feels. That's not Libra. That's not Libra energy. Libra is extremely, they usually wind up in between other people's relationships. Like there's this moderation energy that we can contribute here. So some of us might be called to actually be the peacemaker for this other relationship that's happening, or it could be 2 friends that are fighting or something going on. Like, so there's just things that need balance. I feel like there's these energies that are against each other. That's what I feel. Not even in the notes, just as far as the energy, there's things that don't agree. There's things that, you know, it's just really interesting that Aries is the individual and Libra is relationships, because 2 individuals coming together or more, you know, whatever, it changes who you are. So it's not like we have to have it all figured out, but I will just say, like, the things happening in life right now, like new beginnings and endings, and this needs to change, and this isn't fair. Those things are all just trying to make us see better that things aren't balanced, which, and that's something important to look at. I don't even really ever care about that until I'm under Libra energy, like Libra full moons around this time of year, or in October when it's Libra season. All of a sudden I get really concerned, and like I've been feeling that over the past week or so, like just with work and stuff. Like it's just not fair. But when other times I don't really care, but with this Libra energy, it represents that. So things not being fair, whereas maybe 4 months ago it wouldn't have bothered you. But now when it's Aries season and we got this fire and we actually care about ourselves, and like, wait a minute, this is my life and I'm only doing these things for this person, place, or thing. It's not even for me. It's not gonna be as easy to do. And I don't even think we'll really want to continue to do that after tonight, after the next couple of weeks, as we have the other new moon in Aries, which I think it's on the 20th when Taurus season begins. So that's another day to mention too. The 20th of April, that second full moon, it's an eclipse, or it's a new moon, sorry. New moon in Aries the second time. So we're getting a second chance to almost play a new role or play a new character, but it's in much more alignment with our authenticity. It's going to require confidence. It's going to require us to no longer entertain relationships with certain individuals, not just romantic, but just the relationships we have, the attachments we have to things. It's like our self is gonna win. There's a war against who we are and who others think we are, or who others need us to be. And I feel like selfishness is gonna win, which is hard for me to say as a Pisces, because I'm a people pleaser. But nah, like it's okay to be selfish right now. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay. When I think about Aries, it's like they're already doing what they want to do before they even can check with how you feel about it. They're literally already doing it. So I think it would be best to kind of harness that energy. Way easier said than done for some of us, but this energy is definitely going to pave the road for that. And it's really just a matter of kind of detaching right now, which I'm grateful for, because the energy as far as emotion can be kind of intense. So that's the completion of my notes. So we're just going to transition into the Moonology. So I have this deck at home. It's actually an oracle deck, and we're going to get into traditional tarot after we do the meditate. Are you kidding me? What? So you know? What? That's crazy. I think that my box looks a little different than that. Really?
Yeah.
Is it all the moons? Maybe they just have a better box. Oh, yeah, that's the same, but the box looks different. Wild. So I took the Libra full moon card out of that, and I just take the cards for the moons that we're doing, and then I just read. So anything that I kind of didn't hit on, this is a really good way to kind of wrap it up. So it says, a win-win outcome is in the forecast. Libra full moon. So this was the strawberry full moon. No idea. It looks pink. I guess it's named after a flower, but it was also on Passover. Does anyone have any insight on what Passover is?
It's something, isn't it like religious?
I think so.
I think it's from.
Yeah, it's
I took it literally.
yeah.
Because it did feel like a Passover.
I can't remember.
I definitely don't know, but
Me either. I grew up in church, so I should know, but I don't.
It is Jewish, so.
well, I think it's significant that the full moon was so close to that. I took it literally. I seen it on my calendar, and I did feel like I passed over into like a different dimension or something. Like we maybe that's what it represents. I'm not sure, but we kind of are passing over, even if you want to think of it as just springtime or the season shifting, but we really are. But it looks like we have a win-win situation. So let's go ahead and just read from this tiny pasture here. The full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow, perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason, and sometimes just for a season. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. This card can also refer to a professional relationship. There is a sense that you need to balance your ego, Aries, with someone else's need, Libra. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question. So in order to attune to this moon or align with its energies, just let go of which is falling away. Let go of what is falling away. Additional meanings for the card is to see the other person through the eyes of love. It'll change your perspective. That's going to be challenging, though. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. Now is a great time for a makeover. No matter when you pull the full moon in Libra card, it encourages you to find balance between your desires and those of the people around you. So what you desire and what other people desire. Balance is a very Librarian energy, and the full moon brings things to a peak. So dramas, so dramas, plural, more than one, and are upset. They bring partnerships to the fore. So I think what that means is it upsets and dramatizes partnerships to the core of it. Libra energy also brings love energy. Negotiations are easier. Okay, so there's actually a lot there that I didn't hit on. So that's why. So this portion will just be the tarot portion. I feel a lot better after the meditation. I hope you all do too. With the first part, the notes and everything, I felt a little bit of shaky energy. I usually do, but it's a little different for me this time. This full moon is definitely, maybe it's just my own birth chart or just something personal going on. Maybe it's the collective, maybe it's a combination of both. But I'm a real metaphor type of person, and being spiritual over the past 5 or 6 years also increased that for me as far as symbolism and just omens and everything means something. So I just wanted to share that there may be, it's like, it kind of makes more sense to me now, just everything. I think things are going to go from a chaotic, really shaky state to all of a sudden we're back in the driver's seat of our own life. That all came to me during the meditation. Like we've been wearing other people's shoes for too long, and now we're back in our shoes. And what that might also mean is that other people are going to be wearing our shoes for once. Like, kind of like, how does it feel? I don't want to get too much into that, but we get the gist. So I feel a lot better. This is going to be a bit of a record scratch. Like all of a sudden the energies are going to change a little bit with the tarot. So I've been studying since 2017. I have a personal relationship with the cards. There's 78 cards here, and one of the things I like to do to harness an energy, whether it's a personal reading or a collective reading, when I'm reading for Libras anyways, or when I'm dealing with Libra energy, I will shuffle and find the zodiac card that rules whatever zodiac sign I'm trying to reach or connect to. So in the case of Libra, very suitingly so, they are the Justice card. So last night, just as I was getting my notes ready and getting everything ready for today, I sat with the cards and I just gave them a quick little shuffle. My personal way of connecting is I just shuffle until I see the Justice card, whether that takes an hour, whether that takes a second. And I will say, as far as the metaphors I was mentioning and the omens that I get and everything meaning something, when I sat down with the cards last night, I barely had to touch them. Like, I literally finished the notes. I was like, okay, let's get the cards ready. So I grabbed them and I couldn't even finish the word metaphysical. All I was saying is, this is going to be for a reading tomorrow. I had no idea how many people would be here, if it would just be me and Michael. But I just set the intention to connect with this full moon, to connect with what the tarot cards would like to, what the messages are. And literally I said, what are the messages for tomorrow at Revivify? And I didn't even get that out. And what happened, and this will happen to me sometimes, very rarely, is the actual zodiac sign that I'm trying to reach will fall out as I'm shuffling. So what happened is, I kid you not, the Justice card and the Queen of Swords fell out after I mentioned Revivify and not the physical part. Couldn't even get that word out. So really, the energy is just really aligned, and I'll get into the messages. But I also want to mention something else I got in the meditation, which is a rushed energy. I'm going to call it out. I'm a real slow, go with the flow type of person. I struggle a little bit with that self-first energy, just me personally. Maybe that's worth mentioning to those who are listening, those who are present, that whole put your first energy that Aries would like, but then the whole compassionate, over-compromising energy that Libra would like. So there's a little bit of a compromise there. But as far as the tarot, the Queen of Swords and the Justice, so the Justice card is Libra. That's what I've connected to. And we talk about some of the same things in astrology as what we will with the tarot card here. So it might be a little hard to see down there and kind of far back, but the Justice card has a scale in its hand. That's the scale we were talking about earlier. It's the scale of balance or lack thereof in between all people, places, and things. The detached scales of justice. This is like a judge. I thought I was falling. This is like a judge, a metaphorical, like something that needs moderation or balance or fairness or harmony between all things. But let's really get into this and quit stalling on my behalf, is the Queen of Swords. So we have lots of different cards that represent zodiacs and elements, and even from tarot reader to tarot reader, you'll actually get different messages. For me, this is Libra. This is a female Libra immediately coming forward. So I'm not sure if we have any female Libra in our life, but that's coming up with the Justice card. So, and then we'll just say the feminine side of Libra, if this isn't manifesting as an actual, but just keep in mind as we leave tonight, as we go through the rest of April, and even like Aubrey mentioned, all the way up until October, female Libras are really important for some reason. But we don't want to forget female Gemini, female Aquarius. This is a female air sign. And I try to stay away from gender when it comes to energy work and when it comes to tarot, because really we all have both. We all have masculine tendencies. We all have feminine tendencies. And when we're dealing with a sign like Libra, which we talked about earlier, the duality and the balance, you know, we have both. But I will call a queen. We have feminine energy coming forward. So let's just say that this is a very detached, intelligent, intellectual energy. This is a lawyer. This is like a lady who, and not just a lady, but just, I guess, feminine energy who leads from the mind. And I always say this is the energy, I didn't really explain, but this is the energy that is aligned with the Libra full moon. I'm going to shuffle the cards and really get fun with it in a moment. But what I like to do first is just this extra message that we have, because there's a story being told in the cards after I did the shuffling last night, the very brief shuffling, but I guess the cards are just aligned. So there's something with this Queen of Swords, with this Libra energy, air energy, our thoughts, being detached, saying what we mean, meaning what we say. I will say with the Queen of Swords, she's usually like associated with like the bitchy kind of energy. She's kind of cold. Some people call her the Ice Queen. And that's because she doesn't lead from a place of emotion. It doesn't mean that she isn't emotional. She's still human, right? And these are all metaphors for maybe it's hitting us at a personal level. Like some of us may embody this Queen of Swords because of this Libra energy. Some of us may encounter someone who embodies this Queen of Swords energy. So it's going to depend. And it might be both at sometimes, like, you know, it may just matter as far as the timing. But I do see communication. As I'm up here talking, I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode. My watch is going nuts. Didn't look down to see who it was. But for me, when I'm in a tarot reading and I get messages sometimes, everything means something. So there's going to be an increase in communication, not just through text, but phone calls, word of mouth. And this is because we're dealing with air energy. And we have all these elements in spirituality that mean different things. So when we deal with air, it's literally facts, communication, information, clarity, the truth, having to talk to people, and the opposite of that, having to listen, compromise, and all of that, those communicative things. So there's an emphasis on clarity here, and I will just bring it back here. These two cards came out together. So we're going to keep them together. They fell out onto the table together. So that's almost like the same energy there. I see a female, very intelligent, feminine energy, but this is also for the men listening. These may be women in your life. But I feel like this Libra full moon, first of all, they both have a sword. Swords are they're weapons and tools. So our minds and our words can be used as weapons, or it could be used as a tool. It really depends. We are dealing with war. So, there's that weapon metaphorical energy. So with the Queen of Swords, there can be harsh words. There can be cutting facts or truth that has contributed to this balance. Maybe there's something here about the missing pieces of information, clarity that we don't have in life, in all things. It's going to be different for everyone. But there's just something there. We may revisit that, but I think that's a really strong message in regards to the mind, the intelligent, the intellect, conversations, clarity. So again, just meaning what you say, saying what you mean, making those very detached rulings. Kind of, it's not that you don't care about how you and other people's feel, but I think the whole emotional thing, like leading from emotion, always can't be good. Libra is going to bring your attention to an area that hasn't got attention in a while. That's all this is. That's all balance is. It's not, I don't know if this is the right word to use, but it's not subjective, or it's not personal, I'll say. It's really just, listen, this side of things has gotten more than enough attention. That's the Aries part. That's what Aries is. It's like it brings attention to things, because at the beginning, it was just the individual. But as you move through the zodiac wheel, it's like, I'm even getting the Adam and Eve metaphor. And I'm not religious. I don't know what's going on with the Passover thing that we mentioned earlier, but religion is kind of sneaking in, like the Adam and Eve. Like, I don't care who was first. There's conspiracies and stuff. But there were two beings, because it's like, and it's also bringing me to the fact that one of the basic needs of humanity is like social energy. Like when people are on an island, you can actually like go crazy without. Now I'm thinking of Castaway, that movie where he like made the ball into like Wilson. Like you have to have compassion and human contact is the word I'm looking for. So, okay, we'll move on from that. We may revisit the Queen of Swords. Really what I'm getting as your tarot reader is there's a lot to say. And there might not be a way to immediately articulate it, but we're being put into, like, all of a sudden, we're intelligent enough to make sense of things. Because that's important to mention, too, is sometimes we stay in situations because we haven't made sense of them yet. But when we're dealing with air energy, it's like those facts will come in. People will say, or no communication is communication as well. So all of a sudden, we're crystal clear on things. We're crystal clear on who we are, and others don't matter as much. Because that's another thing with the full moon. Like, there's endings with others, new beginnings with self. So others are kind of taking a back seat to put you in the forefront of your life. Let's get into the real message here, because those two cards came out together. It's like a compact message there. So now here's the story. We have the Knight of Cups. This is a Pisces to me. It could be Scorpio and Cancer as far as water. We all have sun, moon, and rising as well. So don't, take that too literally. We'll just explain the energy so that it's a collective umbrella. So this is romance. I'm not going to lie. So here's that element of like a love message coming in. Somebody needs to hear that listening, whether today or re-listening to this. There's something important about love moving forward. We have Knights in tarot, and something that I like to say when I pull Knights is love wants to move forward when it's on a horse. So it's going to message. It's going to be consistent. It's going to proceed forward. There's movement when it comes to Knights. So love messages, also just charming, compassion. Now, we don't want to forget that Libra is the sign of the charismatic, not quite as much as Gemini being the sign of communication, but Libra has the gift of gab, for lack of a better term. If you know a Libra, they definitely can talk to you. So I feel like there's an emphasis here on the fact that Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, the planet of femininity, the planet of like physical luxury, So, yeah, let's not forget about love. As your tarot reader, I don't want to talk about that for some reason, and I'm going to mention it. Like, even earlier in the notes, relationships were cringing me to talk about. I don't know if that's me feeling something with someone here tonight or someone listening. Maybe there's going to be this theme, if we haven't already felt it already, kind of like just, it's like a blah, meh energy when it comes to relationships. Like, I, as your tarot reader, am getting irritated when that topic comes up. So that means something. But there's some kind of love, emotional message that is important. And we got a huge emphasis on Pisces. We just went through Pisces season not too long ago, but it is Aries season now. There's some energy in Pisces, like Saturn's in Pisces, Neptune is not in Pisces, but huge Pisces energy. I don't know if anyone has a Pisces in their life, but the Knight of Cups is Pisces to me. And then we have the actual card that rules Neptune. So what that would mean to me is illusions. Sacrifice, over sacrificial energy. The hangman is like a martyr. In tarot, the hanged man, there's a picture of someone, and when I first started tarot, I actually thought this was upside down. So for the longest, I would put it the other way, but no, this is the card that is meant to be upside down because it represents seeing things from a completely different point of view. And that sometimes does take sacrifice. This is the card of enlightenment, seeing the world in a different way, almost as if things are upside down. So there's some kind of movement forward emotionally, not just romantically or in love. This could just be, we can sometimes feel that with our friends because I'm being brought back to that Queen of Swords that is detached. Some of us are detached emotionally and ain't even feeling that romance vibe. Our perspective has been changed. We've sacrificed too much when it comes to love and romance. And now, completely different message. We're moving into the Three of Pentacles, which is earth energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We will start Taurus season after April 20th as we end Aries. But we got to talk about work. Everyone here tonight, there's something here about the element of work for the Three of Pentacles. Also, social networking. There's three people that are important here. So there could be a third element, as in a person, place, or thing. So it could be you, another person, place, or thing, and another person, place, or thing. The universe with the Three of Pentacles, it narrows down a situation to threes. Like you might be working and there's two other people working with you. There's just something important here. Maybe not immediately, but that's why I record, so we can re-listen and kind of get our minds blown in a couple weeks. Like if we re-listen to this recording at the end of April, we'll really know what's going on. So, all right, I see someone here who is, they've made certain sacrifices for work. One of those sacrifices may be romance. There might even be romance at work for someone. And the hanged man is stagnancy, no movement. So when it comes to romance and work, as far as this message, there's definitely some clarity needed there. And there's something here where there's romance trying to move forward, but there's a pause. Maybe even when it comes to work as well. Like there's some kind of pause energy. When the hanged man comes up, it's the universe giving us literally a pause. So I don't know if someone here, if there's like a 3-day, maybe it's a weekend because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but there's some kind of a weekend romance work thing going on here. There's also a plan that is going to finally be able to move forward financially. We have a King of Pentacles coming out right after that. This is an individual. I see the Queen, the Queen of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and this King of Pentacles as individuals. So I see an Aquarius, a Pisces, and a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, like an air sign, a water sign, and an earth sign. If that doesn't make sense, it's what you think, what you feel, and what you have. It's earth, water, and air. What's being said, what's being felt, and what's physically tangible, proof, fact, hardcore, and reality. So this is an individual, and I don't think he's present here tonight. That doesn't mean that we can't harness this bad boss energy. The King of Pentacles is just like someone who has their own business. It's someone who has their own resources. They're not in a codependent relationship. They have everything that they need. This could be someone's boss. This is a coworker for somebody. Somebody's work and stability. I see what bowl was that? The root chakra. Okay, gee whiz. So yeah, there's some clarity, truth, communicating energy going on there. And this isn't even the reading yet. This is just the extra message behind the Libra full moon. And then we're going to get cards for all these bowls and really, really like drag this energy in detail. So we have the Judgment card coming up. We're going to stop here. I don't want to get too in depth behind this full moon. But I basically see here some things going on in the romance department. There's some pausing going on there. So we're starting to see things in a different way as far as work and our coworkers. There's some online energy here. There's stability. And also now we have the Judgment card, which is a phone call. So I will just say briefly, I'll get it out of the way. Someone here may have a phone call work situation that's important. The reason these little details come up is because those moments are going to manifest, and this could happen literally in 4 months. I've done readings where the cards are spelling out a specific scenario because this is when you're going to need to hear this the most. So I don't know what physical time on earth this is, but I see a scenario playing out where it's really important that you go back to work or something like that, because the Judgment is resurrection. It's the past. It's a second chance. So there's a second chance of awakening at a stability here, or maybe for some of us with an earth sign. If it's not an earth sign, it's with someone who provides us some sense of tangibility or stability. Like there's some kind of awakening going on with someone's job, or like it's like the final cut. Like someone has to make a decision here about an earth sign or about work, something that's been causing too much stagnancy in the romance or in the emotional department. And that makes sense because we have directly following that the 9 of Pentacles, which is single, stability, content. Like I feel like most of us, well, in comparison to other things, we're really, I guess the way to say this is we're really been focusing on the tangible realm. It's not to say that a romance and relationships aren't important, but what I'm seeing in the cards is like a cover up. Like it's that typical scenario where there's so much going on, but work is work. Like I know I got to be at work at 6 p.m. I'm also arguing with my boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other, but work is solid. Work is promising. My check is going to be what it is. So when it comes to that earth energy, it's dependable, it's tangible, numbers don't lie. So what can happen typically in humanity is when we have those over emotions and problems that aren't as movable or easily solvable, we will really indulge in the physical aspect of things because it's promising. Like, oh, I'm just going to go to work so I don't think about it, or so I definitely see that. Our stability, there's some conflict. I'm not going to get too much into it. There's actually an offer coming in for somebody that may conflict things. It might involve competition. This is the Aries energy here. We can't forget that it's Aries season. So there's a little bit of war and upheaval here. We have another Knight trying to come in. This is Virgo energy to me. We have Virgo and Pisces. But I see some kind of an offer. It could have to do with money, work, tangibility, something that someone values, or just some kind of, maybe somebody was moving too slow as well, or something in someone's life was moving too slow and it caused conflict, tension. So there's an impatient energy with that, because this Aries energy is go, go, go. It's the ram. Aries is the ram. They lead head first and they take action. Libra is also somewhat that way. So we are having a little bit of confliction, waiting and being patient. I see that very subtly in the cards with that message. And it's like, okay, so since that I see 2 things here, because it's like there's money and work, but there's also this thing where it's like I'm about to be single, and that could mean just working alone, because I also see that where there's something going on where you're with people and you collaborate, but somebody's getting awakened to where they can do something on their own, and it might provide them with even more stability, and that's why there's Judgment. But let's go back to the 2 things that are kind of crossing me right now. So I guess we'll harness the relationship. We'll just think of it like that, just for those who resonate with that. If this, in fact, is talking about a relationship, the worth, the effort, the consistency, it's too slow. This could just be relationships in general. Like, there's someone here who's being waited to offer something. Like, you've been waiting on this offer. I don't even know if it's specific. It's just, let's just say something you need. You're waiting on something you need to come in, and it's causing conflict because it's too slow. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do it on my own. Like, Aries doesn't wait for people. I'm just bringing it back to that Aries energy. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm content. This could mean single for some people. So if it is a relationship, someone didn't offer somebody something, it compromised their sense of self-worth. So now someone is contemplating the fruit of their own labor, if that makes sense. It's like, I'm kind of, somebody just got taught a lesson that they can do bad all on their own or something like that. But it is linked very, very clearly to the Judgment card. So people from the past. And then this King of Pentacles, which is an individual that is either an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. In our own birth charts, it could represent our stability. we're definitely getting awakened. So, okay, I definitely needed help because the channeling is getting a little weird, but I just felt Taurus season. So April 20th, sometimes I'm blessed with the ability to give a time frame. So April 20th, that second new moon in Aries eclipse, there's going to be a lot. So Taurus rules money. Taurus rules resources, food, what can be bought, sold, touched, felt in reality. So please know that by April 20th, we have major decisions to make in the actual. So when we have earthly decisions to make, it's going to affect our money. It's going to affect our home, like things that we consider valuable and worthy. So those are really tough decisions because it's not like, I think it's easier to make decisions that affect us emotionally in some areas because that's internal. Like, okay, I made a decision and I'm conflicted about it emotionally. Cool. I know that's a struggle too. But when you make decisions that could potentially change the income you're making or change the amount of rent, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just affects us in a more tangible way. It doesn't have to be good or bad. I don't like that question. Like, well, is it good or bad? Neither and both. It depends on you. Just know that there's some kind of a judgment, major decision awakening going on with this Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, money, self-worth, right with this Three of Pentacles. So I feel like maybe a job from the past. I forgot to hit the other aspect of that dilemma because there was the relationship, I'm going to be single thing, or I've already been single for a certain amount of time. And then there's also a dual message here about work and money. I actually feel that more, but I think for a very select few, it's kind of both. I don't want to just not mention the relationship because I definitely see that, like, oh, I'm single, someone wants a second chance, like, but with the money, it's like we're being awakened and there's a job from the past for somebody, like a second chance to collaborate with this person. Someone has a business proposition. $300 may be important, $3,000, $30. And then the Hanged Man, whatever this is in reference to, it's going to change our perspective. I think some of us have already encountered this pause energy with the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is absolute stagnancy, even more so than the Knight of Pentacles, because that's another slow-moving card. But the Hanged Man, I mean, he's hanging there. So he's been hanging there. He or she has been hanging there for so long upside down that it's their new comfort. It's their new norm, So that's also a metaphor. By April 20th, there may be something that you've endured for so long. I hate to say endured, but you've encountered this or you've experienced this for so long that it's your new norm. Now you're enlightened and see things from a different perspective. So as your tarot reader, I feel there's a lot there. I don't necessarily, I can feel when I hit a message, like that is what the tarot cards are trying to say. I don't feel that right now. I think that there's a reason I'm feeling that. Maybe some of us feel that in our life. Like I got clarity, but not entirely. Like that's just the tip of the sword, iceberg. And then there's this Knight of Cups, which is really important because it's like, yeah, there's all this detached, harsh, intelligent information, sharing information and conversations. But there's also like a person, everybody in this room, there is a Knight of Cups, maybe in your peripheral, like what will I say? There's someone with romantic interest for you. And that might be like shocking for some people to hear, but I see it in the cards. Like, someone here, their mind has been on other things for so long and there's been this detached energy, but there's definitely some romance. I'm very confused with the Knight of Cups. I wouldn't expect that to be here. I get that there's been stagnancy with romance. Some of us haven't felt love or emotion moving forward in a while, but there is a Knight of Cups that this is the full moon of relationships. Do you really think the universe isn't gonna, I know it's ending relationships, but it's going to bring in different relationship dynamics. Like, let's have you meet somebody who mirrors you in a different way, that mirrors different aspects of you, that's a little bit more fair. And then also, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife energy coming forward with the Queen of Swords. I didn't really get this immediately, but there's someone here who's quite pissed off. And it's not just female. The Queen of Swords, I'm just getting a little bit of an upset energy. So if we do feel those energies, or if we're dealing with people who feel those energies, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be listened and heard, and there's going to be compromise. I mean, when the Queen of Swords is upset, like I said, she is the bitch card. So just keep that in mind if we're embodying that, that say what you mean what you say energy, because Libra will do almost anything for clarity, even fabricate stories. So there's something here about the truth and kind of cutting the bullshit kind of energy, because this pertains to who we are. This pertains to our individuality moving forward, what we identify with, the truth of that. And I still, as your tarot reader, feel more with this Queen of Swords. And you know what? I felt the same way about the King of Pentacles. So what that means to me is that individuals are confusing us right now. And that happens every Aries season. Aries season forces people to play a new role, or to stand by the role you've been playing. Who are you? Is what Aries season asks. It asks you to ask yourself that. So around this time every year, it's like people surprise you with the way they're acting. I don't know if anyone else has ever realized that, but Aries season shows me that every year. Similar to how Libra makes me think of my relationships and, oh, this is unfair. Aries makes me realize, like, wow, I really know who you are now. Like, people have no choice but to be exactly who they are in Aries season. There's no hiding it. It's a bold energy. They're already doing it. So if you don't know who someone is, just watch what they're doing, because people are what they're doing. People are the actions that they take. So I guess all that matters too. And now what I would like to do, again, that was just the full moon message, some kind of an extra story. Now it can go anywhere from this direction. I'm just going to grab a tarot card for each bowl. It'll take me just a moment. So if you get thoughts that you want to write down with your manifestation, that's fine. I'm just going to grab a card for each bowl, for each chakra, and we'll start with the root and see what's coming out there. So what is the message for the root chakra energy? And that's our feet, and it's hidden. And then, I don't like when that happens sometimes. Okay, that one's coming out immediately. So this is our solar plexus. What's the card for the solar plexus message? Okay, hidden as well. Heart chakra. Whoa.
I saw that.
Don't that make sense?
Fitting.
Right. And then let's do the throat chakra. This one is important tonight with Michael. Got the 8 of Pentacles. Let's do the third eye chakra. And we will end with the crown chakra energy. All right. We got all the cards. Most of them are hidden from me. Do you mind handing me the color code? Yeah, because I do not remember. It's my little cheat sheet. So we're going to, Michael, help me out if there's anything you want to add with the chakras in the bowls. I know enough about the tarot. I'm learning about the chakras, so I do have briefly just a little cheat sheet to let me know what each bowl represents, because we kind of we kind of bring them together. So the crown chakra, the bowl that Michael was playing, or I guess we'll start with the crown. I was going to start with the root, but we're starting with the crown. Higher consciousness, divine connection. That's up here. There's a clear quartz crystal by it. And these cards are not shown to me. As a tarot reader, when cards fall out face down to me, it represents something that's unknown. Maybe to us, maybe we're hiding it. But there's some kind of a dark hidden message. So we'll try to incorporate that. But it's these repeating cards for the crown chakra. Remember, this is our higher consciousness. For me, what does that mean? So we're conscious of certain things at a certain level here on earth, but when we get to the higher consciousness, this is what our higher self is aware of. This is what we're divinely connected to. But the message coming out is that reoccurring message of the 3 of Pentacles and the Hanged Man. So someone here, there's stagnancy with work. There's 3 days that are really important. I keep thinking it's going to be a weekend, which is weird. I'm just going to go ahead and say I don't work on weekends. I come here on Fridays, but I work at a gas station Monday through Thursday. So it might be that kind of thing. And it might not be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's a 3-day period that's extremely important. That 3-day period, and it is in regards to work or some kind of project or plan or collaboration. It could have to do with online energy. But it's teamwork. I don't want to forget that. This 3 of Pentacles is all about teamwork when it comes out in readings. Like working together, there's 3 or more people that have value to add to the situation. And if you think about that, nobody's good at everything, right? So the 3 of Pentacles shows us that, where, you know, someone may be really creative, so they handle that part. Someone else might be really good at talking, so they handle that. And then this person has good handwriting, so they do that. Not necessarily literally that, but what you're good at, fit in where you get in, or get in where you fit in kind of thing. But I'll just be honest, for me as a tarot reader, and when I think about the crown chakra and the higher consciousness, I will say that there's something more going on with work right now, with what we do with work. And I heard manual labor. Not sure what that means. Anything that involves manual labor, this is a very earthly message. That's going to be more important after April 20th when we get into that Taurus. We go through Aries season, who are you? Now we go through Taurus season, what do you have? And then it's like weird because some of us identify with what we have. We don't feel as good when we don't have money, or we feel real. So don't over-identify with what belongs to you, but there is some kind of stagnancy with work. There's some kind of a work pause or a project that gets put on pause. And now I'm hearing 3 months. So if it's April, it'll be May, June, and July. So July may be an important month for anyone who's dealing with 3 months. And then we don't want to leave out 3 weeks either. I actually feel really good about that. So the next 3 weeks, so basically the beginning of May, last couple weeks of April, beginning of May, someone may get a message, or there may be a scenario in life where something's causing stagnancy in regards to work, or there's a work pause. I'm not real sure about this. We may come back to it. Sometimes other bowls will kind of chime in. We actually do have something here about work for sure with the throat chakra. So there's something enlightening here. I don't know if there's some co-workers that are going to enlighten someone, but what I'm going to say about that is that there's something more. There's a divine connection to me with that. So if there is stagnancy, we'll just use this as an example because it's starting to confuse me. If you don't go to work for 3 days, there's a divine purpose for that. But this is a situation where someone's not happy about that. Like, it's weird. It's a weird situation. So if there's anything that happens like that, stagnancy at work, something that changes your perspective at work, there's a divine reason for that. And what I mean by that is it's not going to make sense on earth. There's things moving around in different ethers that are the as above, so below. So your physical life is following suit. Your spirit body is doing something somewhere else for 3 days. You can't be somewhere physically for 3 days, or there's some kind of stagnancy with that. Or again, some kind of project. There's a 3 month, somebody's getting blessed with a 3 month period to just pause. Someone's getting blessed with 3 days at the very least to just pause. And after that 3 week, 3 day, whatever that portion is, I don't want to put an earthly time frame on it because this is energy, so it could happen anytime. Some of us have already went through this. Some of us are going to go through it, but just know that's going to change your perspective. Working with those people, that collaboration, that little pause that you get, it's going to divinely change somebody's perspective. There might be a little bit of a sacrifice here, or something where you have to kind of surrender because of work, or because the hangman can mean that too, surrender, sacrifice. But let's move on from that. And I actually feel as your tarot reader, some of us need to move on from that, like things in regard to work. And with this Libra energy, this could be our partner's job, or the relationship we have with like a coworker or something. We really want to chime in balance, fairness, equality, or the lack thereof when it comes to this. But we're going to move on to the third eye, which is purple energy. These are also hidden from me, and then I didn't even mention that, or I didn't incorporate that, but there's something hidden there at work going on because those cards weren't revealed to me. There's something unknown. Some of us don't know that in 3 weeks, we ain't got to be to work for 3 days, or there's going to be a 3-day period where something kind of changes our perspective. There's a little bit of stagnancy. We have to sacrifice. And then it's like, I don't see this the same way. I no longer want to work with you, or I don't see this the same way. I no longer want to be with you, or whatever it might be. That's that hidden aspect. So I think that is to come. And also with the third eye, this is intuition, foresight, our imagination opening. But these cards were hidden, so I don't want to forget to mention that there's something hidden here. But the third eye is like foresight. You can see it coming. It's like that amethyst energy where you might dream about it before it happens. You just get an eerie gut feeling. So keep that in mind as well, that there's some intuitive I kind of seen this coming energy. So, okay, we have the Page of Wands, King of Wands, and the Ten of Swords. Immediately, we have fire signs. This is weird. Sometimes I get tarot visions. If I know I'm going to do a tarot reading, I'm just a weirdly structured, preparing person. So I try to prepare in my mind. And in those moments, I'll get cards. Like, what if, kind of like earlier, I was like, what if the Two of Swords shows up? But then it actually does. So I had that with these two people. I literally, and it's weird, we're dealing with foresight here. As your tarot reader, I'm getting deja vu. So there's something here with fire signs. We have a Leo, an Aries, a Sagittarius. These are two individuals. This could be father-son. I see father-son immediately because the page is usually, if not physical age, it's a lack of maturity. It's a lack of experience. It's something that is just started. But these are expressors. These are action takers. They're confident. This is good, enthusiastic news. They're definitely individuals. And there could be a slight age difference. This could be two men. And like I said, I don't really like to use gender, but if I do feel it, I will say it. I see 2 fire signs. Definitely Leo energy, extremely important. Sun, moon, or rising. And if it's not Leo energy, this is someone who's loud, confident. They might work out. They have a lot of stamina. These may be energies we need to tap into. But there's something that's going to be expressed or an action that was taken that somebody knew in foresight. This came up last moon. This literally came up, maybe even the same. There's something about a fire sign man that came up in our last full moon a month ago, and I think it was for this fire sign is still hanging out by this third eye. I don't know if we just got a spiritual fire sign, which is attractive, or if this is speaking of attraction, this could just be, you know, not even just men, but just attraction. Maybe someone's attracted to us, and I'm trying to stall, not consciously, but what's happening to me as your tarot reader is I'm forgetting about this card, the Ten of Swords. So there's an ending that someone's forgetting about, even though you saw it coming intuitively. Like, what I would say is that there's an ending here to a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be something that someone does or a confidence someone harnesses that in turn of that, remember we talked about Libra being the compromise. So, hey, if you want to harness Aries energy and be confident and be bold and take action and do what you actually want to do instead of people pleasing all the time, this is the compromise you have to make, which is the Ten of Swords, an ending. This is backstabbing energy. So I don't want to skip over that either with the foresight and the third eye. And I've seen this coming. Someone here, whether you're on the ground with swords in your back or whether someone else is on the ground because of you and you're putting swords in their back. So are you feeling the pain or are you causing the pain? I'm not sure. It could be both at different times. But someone here is at rock bottom. Someone here is facing an ultimate ending. And I don't want to forget to mention that the Ten of Swords is the light at the end of the tunnel card. So this is coming out for a scenario or an individual who's already, this is nothing new. They have 10 swords stabbed in their back. That can't happen simultaneously most of the time. So really these swords over time, could be 10 years, could have been 10 months. October is an important month too with the 10 because it's the 10th month. So yeah, someone here, there's actually going to be an ending to something that's been causing you pain, and it could be actual back pain. That came up in the meditation, because I do say that sometimes, that like down the spine where each of those swords are. But I don't see that immediately. That's just for a few people listening. I see that someone needs to take action, and it's like there's something that you've been needing to do that you've known for a while intuitively, for a while, not just a couple weeks or anything like that. Like you've literally known. It's getting harder by the minute, by the second, by the day to not do something because your individuality is calling you. For some of us, this is just about work, like what we're doing in work and who we work with, and we're not able to be certain versions of ourselves at a certain place or something like that going on. But I just see someone who intuitively knows what they need to do, but they also intuitively know that it's going to cause an ending. Whether this is a person, place, or thing, I think for most of us it might be a work situation too. I do see a little bit of relationship stuff, but it's literally that kind of energy. Like you know what you need to do, but you also know that it's going to require a level of confidence that you've never harnessed. You're so afraid to take that bold Aries move because you know it's going to end something with you directly, or it's going to end something with someone else. And that's the thing with this Libra Aries energy, is that we're actually extremely affected by others, extremely affected. They call Libra and Aries selfish signs, but we're extremely, who we are is extremely written on by other people, unfortunately, sometimes. So even if it's not you going through pain, your confidence in what you're doing, someone here might even be like stalling a little bit. Like, I ain't even about to hurt you like that. I don't want to hurt them like that. Or I don't want to end that right now because of what it might mean, or because of maybe something ends first and then someone does something. But taking action and endings are going hand in hand with this spiritual third eye intuition foresight chakra bowl. So we may return to that, but I think that's all there. And we're going to move to the throat, which has really wanted a lot of attention tonight. The blue energy. So this is our ability to speak and communicate clearly. We're going to see what's going on there energetically. Right away, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is strange. This is revealed to me. And I want to remind you guys that last bowl, there was something secretive going on there. That might be why there's endings. Maybe there's something unknown there. But this was revealed. So I like when the cards are like that, because it's something we're aware of. It's something we can see. Right away, as a tarot reader, there's a conversation about work that's important. And I had that earlier with the phone call and the second chance at a job or second chance to do something. So somebody's ability to speak at work, or do you speak at work? Are you confident enough to say certain things at work? Is there some kind of conversation, or there's someone you talk to or communicate at work? There's also a conversation that's going to require a lot of mastery and a lot of effort. Like there's someone here, like talking to them is a chore, or maybe someone sees that in general like that. Like lately it's just been kind of a burden to speak your truth, so there's a little bit of a quiet energy or something. But I see some truth and clarity coming in about work. There's some kind of projects. Again, some of us, okay, so our thoughts at work are super, super, super important, because this person is really focused on something that they're making. It's a hobby. This could have to do with school or studying or learning, because it's the mastery of something. It's habitual, the mundane aspects of life that you do every day is why it's usually Virgo energy. So someone here is really focused on something. I don't care if it's knitting or if you're typing at work. It's so different for everyone. But it's just a focused energy on somebody's craft. But there's a thought they're having. Like, I really want to know what this individual is thinking about, because it's super important. So just keep in mind when you're busy. I'm seeing someone who's doing the dishes, something like that. For me, I don't know why I keep coming up as a personal example. I just want things to make sense tonight. I think that's also a metaphor. But when I mop the floor after work, like I spend all day at this crazy gas station, and then I get to lock the door at midnight and no one can bother me. And then one of the last things I do is I mop the floor, and I have some of the craziest, enlightening, like, thoughts. I think it's because there's so many energies I come in contact with, and there's like all these, some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's stressful, some of it's easy, and then I just get to mop the floor, and I don't know what it is about that. So just keep that in mind. Washing the dishes, like when you're doing a meticulous knitting, just anything with your hands, something you need to focus on it. Your thoughts are so important. But there is also something here that needs to be talked about at work. Someone needs to work on their communication skills. Someone needs to work and put more effort into their throat chakra. There's something somebody hasn't been saying at work. They keep their head down and they just do the job. As long as my numbers come out right at the end of the day, I don't care. But then you're left with these thoughts. And it will bring it back to Libra energy, these thoughts about things being unfair at work. And then for somebody listening, they may not be physically present here tonight, or it may not be a reality for us tonight. Someone here talks to someone at work, or I've been getting that throughout the night. It's not verbatim. It's not, hey, someone's with somebody at work, but that is an energy that might come up. I don't know if one of your customers or what it is, what they say to you. There's something weird going on. There's more behind your thoughts and words and other people's thoughts and words at work. There's something going on with that. I definitely feel as a tarot reader, there's way more there. But I'll just wrap up and say that there's going to be a lot of clarity when it comes to work. Again, Taurus season is coming at the end of April 20th anyways. So our money and our tangibility is going to get really important. Mercury's in Taurus, so that kind of makes sense too. Like, we're doing a lot of thinking about our money and our hard work. And something here is very mentally taxing, though. I will say that with the throat chakra. But we will move on. If that comes up, or if other cards speak on that, we'll return. But we'll move to the heart. Love, self-love, relationships. And that's green energy. I'm really, really surprised at, I guess not surprised, but it's just really ironic, like a little Easter egg. So maybe Easter's important, guys. I don't know. But the Three of Swords, the Three of Cups came out, and I'm surprised because it's the heart chakra, and look what we have here. We have the Three of Swords, which is a heartbreak. This is breakups. This is super, it's almost like very in my face. Someone here, in fact, maybe all of us, there's some heartbreak. You know, we are under the Libra energy, and when we deal with relationships, you know, the other end of that is breakups. And then I'll also just straight up say, as a tarot reader, this is a friend breakup. This is, and I kind of getting a little emotional about it, just as far as the energy coming off the cards. Yeah, there's a lot of messages here. So I see a friendship that's breaking up. I see, and this might not be a friend. It could be like, I'm breaking up with you and I'm losing a friendship in you as well. Like, I saw you as a friend. We have a friendship as well. Or it could be a friend that you're separated from, because the Three of Swords is separation. So we'll move a little backwards. There's so much messages here with this one in the heart space with love and self-love. Some of us, I love what Michael said earlier about giving that, and what you said as well, Lori, about envisioning yourself, and then envisioning a stranger, and then envisioning someone that hurt you. So I see some self-love that needs to be given to somebody who, this may not even be, you know, recent heartbreak, but it's undeniably that there's some sadness, loss in the heart, literal heartbreak that someone's experienced. And I also say heart-to-heart conversations. So the throat chakra is coming back up. For me, just me as a tarot reader, heart-to-heart conversations, speaking from your heart is super important. But I see three people so important. We have the Three of Pentacles. We have the Three of Swords. We have the Three of Cups. We're missing the Three of Wands. But that's three threes that have... So the Trinity is showing up here. Not literally, but, you know, things may happen in threes. And I see this is also around the time of a gathering. So this may be holiday time. I did just mention Easter. I don't know when Easter is. Oh, literally in 2 days. So, okay, cool. So, yeah, the festive times, gathering, social. So this heartbreak, this breakup, this may have to do with gossip, because we don't want to forget to mention that the Three of Cups is gossip. This could be a reunion, okay? I just got, as soon as I put the card down, I kind of remembered that the Three of Cups is reconciliation. So I will say I'm actually relieved as your tarot reader. So there's a reason I'm feeling that. Like, oh, yeah, okay, this also could mean that. So there could be a friendship that comes back together in some way, or if there's been breakups, disagreements, anything like that, where you've been separated from maybe even joyous times in general, there may be some kind of reconcile energy that comes forward. But I will say this message came out with the third card. It's not upright, so I don't know what it is. So there's some kind of a hidden element with our relationships and friendships, because we love our friends too. So self-love, maybe there's some new friendships coming in. This is the kind of energy where you're heartbroken and your friends turn up with you to help you, or, you know, like I don't know what's going on here, but there's some kind of like we'll be there with you. There's some kind of rejoicing. That's the word I was looking for. Let's reveal the card that came out with it. This was upside down. I wasn't able to see this. So there's a hidden element here of needing to stand up for yourself. There's something here about blocking somebody, maybe literally, because you know, it's 2023. So we may block this person on social media, or this is a heart chakra block that is like, there's some reason, there's something here about friendship that's super important. And I think it's, I can't, I almost said I can't stand this Libra energy because it really dissects me in the middle. And I'm already that way so normally as a Pisces with the two fish. But with Libra energy, it's like, wow, things are really separated, light and dark. Like as I'm talking about one message, I can feel that it means literally something else. So I do get an aspect here where there's a little bit of a friend quarrel and a breakup, and maybe also someone's going through a breakup, and there's also like because of this separation and heartbreak, it breaks a friendship. Like now I lost a friend and my significant other. Great. Like there's some kind of upheaval here with the heart chakra. I mean, this is a heart chakra. I like that it's the heart chakra and not like the throat, because that would mean a little bit more in the forefront of arguing and actual thoughts that are happening. This is happening in our heart, which is more of an intimate thing. And it's almost unfortunate because I don't know what this is scientifically. I don't even know if this is true, but I'm channeling it right now that we're able to hold things in our heart for a lot longer than the other chakras. So what that would mean on an earthly level is people are heartbroken and we don't even know it. They're sad and we don't even know it. We're going through loss and separation and we don't even know it. Some of us, the strongest people, right? There's someone here who literally fights battles for their friends. They fight battles while they're heartbroken. Or maybe someone here is really blocked, guarded, and defensive because they've been really fucked with in the past. They've been really betrayed. They've been really, what's the word? I guess betrayal will have to do. Like, just, they've been brokenhearted. There's even someone here who's dealt with that in their friendships. That keeps coming back up. So stand up for yourself. This is literally that Aries season energy. That's like, somebody here goes out with their friends too. They're broken up, and there's something here where you're able to go out with your friends and party, and that puts you back at the top. Like it's actually like a strategic move. Like, you know what? I'm going out with my friends. This might be Easter. You celebrate Easter with someone else, or you're dealing with loss. Like there's literally sadness, but at the same time there's this social energy, and someone here ain't feeling either of that. So they're kind of guarded and defensive. So I don't know. The energy is really pushy-pulley, but this is all happening in the heart. So we need that love and the self-love. And then this is literally, I didn't realize this, but the relationship heart chakra, and this is a relationship moon. So there's a lot going on. There's breakups and things to stand up for yourself and moves that you can make. And I just don't want to forget to mention, especially because the Seven of Wands was hidden, that hidden enemies. I don't know if this is a friend, a heartbroken friend. That might be too. This can kind of manifest in many different ways. But with the Seven of Wands, there are unfaced people. So people without faces, meaning we don't know who they are, that are, they want us to fall. They don't want us to succeed. They aren't working with us. They're working against us. This could be people we call friends. This could be people we call coworkers, people we call mom, people we call babe. So with that energy of standing up with yourself, you're standing against people, places, and things that want to burst your bubble, and they want you to fall. They don't want you to be the king of the hill. They want you to stay heartbroken and friendless and gatherless. They want you to stay allianceless. Like, they don't want you to have alliances. They want you to be alone with this might just be energies, like dark energies that we fight. But yeah, I see someone here that their heart chakra is blocked and defensive because they're heartbroken and they've been through a lot of painful separation through the years. But we will move on respectively to the solar plexus, which is yellow. It's right in front of me. This is also hidden from me, but the solar plexus is self-esteem, pleasure, willpower, and also our responsibility. So there's something hidden here with that. And we have the Five of Cups. So that makes a lot of sense. This is depression, emotional conflict. So solar plexus is at your stomach?
Yeah, like
above your belly button?
Yeah. Like that spot where your ribs kind of splits. Like right in
I just see it as like, the solar plexus to me gives off like this positive, vibrant energy, right? With the yellow anyways. I'm not real educated with the chakras. But our self-esteem is really taking a blow with the emotional conflict here. So this is the card where like something's already come to pass. It's already happened, but we're emotionally still messed up about it, us or others. Again, this energy can be relevant to people around you if it's not you right now. We'll revisit this at the end of April for those who want the recording to re-listen. But there's something here where we have low self-esteem. I wouldn't say this is all about pleasure. Even though this chakra bowl rules pleasure, the Five of Cups suggests that, yeah, it's water under the bridge, but there's something here that didn't work out that we're overly focused on. It's pessimism at best. Like, this person their head's hanging low. They're focused on what hasn't worked out. But what they don't know is that the other side of this is sunny side up. Like, so I always say, don't let your woes from the past dictate or determine the pros in the future. Like, glass half full, glass half empty, or do you just have a glass? Like, it's that kind of energy. But for me as a tarot reader, when the Three of Cups and the Five of Cups come out together, it really is a representation of either a reconciliation that's not happening, where we are really staying broke up, or it's the friendship. Someone is going to lose a friendship here, or they have lost an important friendship in a person, place, or thing. And maybe it's so a relationship because I see two cups that are still standing up. Ooh, there might be a friend who actually has more feelings for somebody or something. Like, I'm getting a weird friend zone kind of energy, but someone don't have the self-esteem to take action. They don't have the confidence to do this. That's just a very slight message for someone. So we've been going pleasureless because of this, because we don't have... And then I will also say it is our responsibility to acknowledge our emotional conflict. If you're conflicted about something emotionally, it's your responsibility to hug yourself, for lack of a better way of putting that. Like, honor that. Pause in that. Don't be in Aries about it and rush past it. Like, stop and calm down and acknowledge for one moment that you're sad. Like, I feel like people, myself included, that's how I know that from experience. I'm speaking from experience. Like, we rush past grief, and that's not, all we're doing is prolonging it at that point. We're putting it on layaway to buy again. Like, we have to confront these conflicted emotions, and some of us have not encountered this yet. I mean, everyone can resonate with that. Everyone's emotionally conflicted at some point, but this Libra full moon in the solar plexus is really highlighting, I guess, the willpower to move past something once after you've felt it. Like, it is important to acknowledge how hurt you are because something didn't work out, or how hurt you are that something happened. But don't let that dictate your future, because there is good in this card. It just really, it's up to perspective. But emotional conflict, this is depression, someone who's in deep regret. It may not be you. This may be how someone feels about you. So it really depends on what end of the scale you're on. But that's an interesting, and then this was hidden as well. So some of us are just super depressed and no one knows it. We're conflicted emotionally and it's being hidden. So we need that. And that's right there in the stomach. Michael said so it's related that if you're getting like stomach aches, or if you feel like throw up energy or nausea, it's because there's some emotional conflict going on and we're just hiding it. We're just hiding it with fake smiles and yellow energy, when really all of us are sad about different stuff and we are rushing past it and hoping that the rug just stays, no one knows the rug is dirty under there, and we just sweep around the rug. But we'll move on. I think we kind of get that. As your tarot reader, I think that was hidden for a reason. It's almost exhausting to expose that. So we will handle that at our own pace as we end April, as we move through these months. But I just want to acknowledge that as a human in front of you guys, that I see that we're all conflicted. It's okay to be conflicted and to not know. And also, I'm just going to say it, it's like hard to cry. Like I've felt that not just tonight, but over the past, like recently. It's been a recent theme where even in movies, it's like really sad. I'm a Pisces, I cry. But lately I've been disconnected from my emotions. I think it's the Libra energy where it's rationality is taking over, and that serves a purpose. But I do get that energy where it's avoidance. Like you almost start to cry and then it just goes away. Like that pill in your throat, but you just push it down. There's obviously there's obviously cons to that, and toxicity, or there's damage. Like there's some things wrong with that, but that's sometimes how we cope and things. So we'll just give that person, whether this is us or someone else in our life, like someone's upset and sad and they don't have a self-esteem, they're not experiencing pleasure, and they're gonna gain the willpower to stand up for themselves and take responsibility. Either that's us or someone else. But we'll move to orange. We have just the sacral chakra. We'll discuss the root and we'll be done. So creativity and sexual energy, pretty simple, except we got a 9 of Pentacles. So someone is single here. That's actually really fun energy, because someone here is content on their own. So wow, someone looks really, really attractive, and there's like this vibrant sexual energy coming off of somebody because they've built their own garden. Because they're independent. They can do something on their own. They're really close to very financial fulfillment. Like there's been a lot of focus on that throughout this reading, just the tangible. So I don't know if I always say sometimes I give readings to women who are completely married for 50 years, and I pull the 9 of Pentacles, and it's like, what aspect of your life do you feel single though? Because some people are in full-on partnerships, but they kind of feel single when it comes to the way they make money. So don't take that literally. It's just, remember, Aries is the individual. It's the single. So there's something here that we can kind of do content on our own, but it's linked to creative and sexual. So there's definitely something growing here, this creative energy. And then I can't ignore that there's someone here is single, sexual, there's creative, orange sacral energy, very independent, grounded energy. So that one was really brief. There might be more there. But that seems just straight to the point. Like someone here is just really building something good. And I think because of that, their confidence is getting better. But we'll end with the root here. This is the last card that is hidden from me. I don't believe the sacral chakra was hidden. So here's another message where something's hidden from us. We don't know it, or we're hiding it and others don't know it. But the root symbolizes safety, security, stability in our foundation. And we have the Chariot. How did I know a Cancer was going to show up? So this could be a vehicle, it could be travel safe, drive safe, literally, because this is safety and security. And we have a vehicle, a security vehicle. This is a police officer. And then that's so weird because Libra rules the law. I was saying earlier, I saw 2 people pulled over at work. So there's something here with that as well. Tarot gets kind of creative. So just drive safe. There's something here about security vehicles. So just be careful. Don't just drive safe when you see a cop. Drive safe all the time. But Cancer energy, Cancer season isn't too far away. It's like June 20th, I want to say. This could be an actual Cancer individual, sun, moon, or rising. I'm not really feeling that, though. I feel that this is talking about moving forward fast. Acceleration. This is one of the fastest cards in tarot. So it is safe to move forward. It is safe. Some of us are traveling. Have safe travels, I'm hearing. Some of us are now establishing a foundation that is so strong that we're literally going to rocket launch forward past all obstacles. And I'm grateful for that download that I just got, because the Chariot talks about obstacles in our way, seen and unseen. This card was hidden from me, so it's really highlighting the unseen factors in our way. I feel this may have to do with a relationship. It may have to do with work. It may have to do with other things for other people, but there are hidden obstacles in our way. But the thing about the Chariot card is it's a person in a little like a horse and buggy, like a chariot. He's in a chariot and he doesn't have reins to control the horses though. So keep that in mind, that when there's people, places, and things in front of you on your path, it doesn't matter. You're going to accelerate with victory. This is a card of victory as well through those things. So I like that. This is actually a good card to have with the root. So we're rooted in victory. We are secure within our own acceleration. I needed to hear this because I've been a little sus and a little skeptical of the speed of the universe lately. Like, are you sure? Are you sure it's supposed to be this fast? And I just thought maybe it was Aries season, but there's, been that chaos and that rushed energy. I'm hearing things are right on time. Like, things are actually meant to be occurring this rapidly fast. And then I just feel like, as far as our foundation, which is the beginning of something, you can't really build something secure unless you have a strong foundation. So I think that's where we're headed to. I think all of us have experienced obstacles with the root. We couldn't quite root ourselves in this relationship, or we couldn't quite root ourselves in this job or with this person, place, or thing. But we're moving towards a much more safe, grounded, and again, I'm being reminded of Taurus. So not to steal the show from Aries, but this Taurus season is going to be extremely different. As an astrologer, I can't necessarily say why, because I'm trying to think if there's any planets. I mean, Mercury just moved into Taurus, and then what it really might be is the fact that Venus is going to be in the home sign of Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus as well as Libra. So I just want to give you a date. So the 14th of April is extremely important because Vesta is moving into Taurus. Where's Venus? Okay, Venus is entering Gemini on the 11th. So I guess the first 11 days of April, super important because Venus is moving so quick that it's actually moving into Gemini, twin flame energy. So, okay, I'll be honest. I'm not sure why this Taurus energy is so important, but for some reason, I guess it'll be determined, right? After April 20th, when we shift into Taurus, there's just something important because it's that earth energy. What made me think of that is because of the foundation. There's been so much money and tangible energy that's shown up. Sometimes as a reader, I just get funny metaphors like that. So I will say everything else I'm a little questionable about, but I do feel like Taurus season is extremely important. And then just briefly, bottom of the deck, which lets me know more about why we're even talking about all this. So Sagittarius is important, Scorpio, Virgo. So I see a water sign and I see 2 earth signs. So this could just be our feelings and money. But I do see some culmination. There's Scorpio full moon, really important. That's in a month, literally from right now. So like around May 5th. There's something going on here. We'll just take the last two. There's some kind of competitiveness or conflict with our finances. This is that Taurus energy. So by Taurus, I mean, it looks like the Aries-Taurus cusp to me, which is war and what you have. So hopefully it's not that. Like we have to get in like battles about our money. Or maybe we're just tired of trying to prove our self-worth to somebody. So, we just know it for ourselves. And who cares if they ever wise up to it? Because they need to wise up to their own anyway. So I would say we're going to start slowing down a little emotionally when it comes to love and compassion. Because there's other things to be fought in the tangible realm right now. A lot of us are just really tangible, money focused. Or somebody here is fighting with an earth sign or fighting about money. There's conflict. Or something of that nature. Tension. Taurus season may bring tension. So just April 20th, the rest of April, and definitely between May 1st and May 20th before we get into Gemini season. I cannot believe that Gemini season is so close. But yeah, I would say the things that Aries season caused between March 20th and April 20th. So that was when we were getting shown very, very in our face who we are, who we're not able to be, who we desperately want to be but can't be because of other people. So by Taurus season, we're pissed. And then there's this thing called Vedic astrology, which is sort of people believe that we're actually in Pisces season still right now. And I kind of understand it because,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Is it because there's 13 full moons in a year?
I've heard that. I've also heard the 13th zodiac.
13 zodiac.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. It's like a weird, maybe it starts with an S.
It was something weird, but my sign would be changed.
Yes, yeah. It depends on the dates. I mean, I love Western astrology. I'm not done obsessing with that. I'm not done being passionate about Western. I don't debunk Vedic astrology. I'm not debunking sidereal astrology. I'm only saying that I really understand, like, right now I do feel more Pisces. Like, I didn't feel Pisces season in Pisces season. It's Aries season, and now I feel like it's Pisces season. So I think, just don't quote me on this, I think just because of the space in the universe and how far away the planets are, what Vedic and sidereal astrologists believe is that when you incorporate that time and space, like Earth, from an earthly standpoint, Western astrology is great. But if you want to be really, really in depth, technically that distance and time or space and energy, it creates a difference if you incorporate that. So technically you might be, what would you be? Would you be a,
I think it was a Pisces.
you might be a Pisces, and I think I would be an Aquarius, and I kind of get it. I kind of get that.
Yeah, I kind of get it too, but I want to know what my moon is. Because that would be changed.
Right.
Sure.
Could be, or I'm not sure even if that's your time of birth. Huh?
Oh, I'm not sure either on how it's...
I'm not sure if the moon and the rising would change, but they definitely have charts that say, hey, your zodiac sign actually isn't your zodiac. All I'm saying is that energies dwindle, and it'll feel like Aries season when it's Taurus season, except we'll have this shift into our money and our physical. So maybe that's what I was feeling like, that we're going to get really in depth in work or something. But I see this lingering earth sign. I see this King of Pentacles that has just been up in this reading. And I see, I'll just close with this, like, and it makes so much sense because Libra is others. I've given many readings, and the court card, I think they're called court cards, the kings, the pages, the knights. They don't give me that, but tonight they give me weird energy. And I think it's because I'm channeling the fact that a lot of strange energies in our stories are coming from individuals. Because we're individuals, but other people are individuals too. So our story versus other people's story. Are you a main character in someone else's story? Are you coming back for the sequel? Just metaphorically speaking, like, this King of Pentacles is giving me, I don't know who this is, but when I re-listen, I'll know. Because this could be a sun, moon, or rising. So if you don't know an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, they could very well have a moon. Or this is someone who is very, very, they're right alongside you. Like, if you don't eat, they don't eat. If the rent isn't paid, their rent isn't paid. So they live with you, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're very tangibly related to you. You have broke bread with this person. You might have been broke with this person. You may share money with this person. You know, like half the rent could be your roommate. I don't know who this King of Pentacles is. Maybe some of us don't know. But this is an individual that is giving me a very significant... They're causing some conflict, or they're gonna cause some conflict, or you're internally conflicted. And why is the Lover's card trying to come out? So there's a Gemini here, in choices. The Lover's card is choices. So I guess we're getting way into, I'm gonna stop because we're getting into Taurus and Gemini season. We're time traveling into the future, and we'll have to meet back in a month to discuss that Scorpio full moon that we're gonna have in a month, and that Sagittarius full moon that we're gonna have in 2 months from now. But our relationships with this Libra full moon are super, super... We have a soulmate. I really have to stop because now we got twin flame soulmate stuff, and that's a whole nother story, like hours of talking. But I'll just say in a nutshell, we have very strong emotional connections on the way, very important choices. Some of us are very much going to be connecting with more than one person. And that might be the issue, because I see that. When I see that, this is what I'm seeing, guys. I'm sorry to not hold it up, but... Lover's card and the Two of Cups, that's a soulmate, a twin flame, like a very divine connection. Like, that's awesome, honestly, because relationships have been what they've been. I don't think they've been a little uneasy, but now the twin flame connection's awakening, which basically means, and I promise I'm done, is that someone who mirrors you is coming. So I don't say the opposite of you, but when you guys are together, you are whole alone. You're whole and you're whole. So when those two people come together, they were created with you. So they're going to be able to show you things that this person you were with wouldn't be able to show you. Some of us are getting out of karmic relationships. And those are just relationships that we had to learn from. And time's up, literally, for this and like for those relationships. So that's a double whammy message there.